Give us 30 minutes each week to discover the trends that are shaping the future of retirement with That Annuity Show. We bring you conversations with industry leaders who are revolutionizing financial products, technology, and distribution channels. Now, here's your host, Paul Tyler.
Hi, this is Paul Tyler, and welcome to another special episode of That Annuity Show. We had the great pleasure of recording a series of interviews with some just great people on the floor of InsureTech Connect. Susan Winkler, who's here today, who's Vice President and Executive Director of the Connecticut Insurance and Financial Services Group, graciously let us do this again. And Susan, it's great to have you here and talk to us about the show and talk to us about the event and talk to us about some of the people we talked to.
Yeah, it was great to be in Vegas again with you, Paul, and the teams, and capturing the energy at ITC like we did with the 10,000 people that were there. The funny thing about having the booth, insurance capital of the world, is that everybody seems to have a touch point to Hartford, Connecticut, and as a result of that, the energy and the activity of the booth never stops. Oh. So we thank you too for running the podcast at that booth and adding to that energy. But it certainly was all good.
It was fun. I think next year you have to pull up a sign that says Insurance Capital of the World and ITC.
Yeah, that's right. That is right.
Yeah. So anyway, this show is about climate. Now, a lot of people I know on our show are in the annuity business. Now, what does climate have to do with annuity? Well, for me, the connection actually is more direct than you might imagine. When I see homes getting washed down the rivers like we did, earlier this year, some people see it as a P&C claim. I also think of that as retirement savings that have been washed away, because for most Americans, next to Social Security, Susan, their home is probably the biggest retirement asset they have.
100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a good conference. We had a number of people, some people we know well. It says I had a couple of people come by who I didn't know, but I thought they were great, and included two of those conversations here. So, first up is Stacey Brown. Now, Stacey almost doesn't need an introduction.
No.
He
walks around the floor, people gravitate right to see him. So I think he's an icon.
Yeah. So
we're happy to claim him as our own here in Hartford.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, Stacey has some interesting insights on the conference, but also what we're doing for the environment.
Paul, good to be here with you. I'm Stacey Brown, founder and president InsureTech Hartford.
Yeah, well, Stacey, you almost don't need an introduction other than a quick one here. Most people know you. So I guess 2024, we have something like, 10,000 people here. What's caught your eye so far?
Well, I come at it from a slightly different angle than probably a lot of people, just as a conference organizer, right? So I'm walking in and I'm looking at things like the quality of the booth construction. I felt walking in this year that it's a 3D experience. They have done a really nice job with different booths positioned at different heights, at different distances, making it have like a nice stacked depth feel to it.
Right.
It's a real nice layout.
Yeah, no, it's Las Vegas is, I think, the place to come if you're going to do a put on something like on this scale.
Oh, for this scale, definitely.
Yeah. So let me shift gears. 2025. What do you predict in the space? AI. You got to have an opinion on how that's going to shape or not shape our space.
Yeah, I think like so many technologies, there's the hype cycle around it. Once the media gets their hands on new tech, I think we've kind of seen the peak of that. But I still think AI will continue to be a big driver of spend and projects, and a lot of work going around building those capabilities and figuring out how to get value out of them. And most organizations I spent some time at the beginning of this year looking at and talking to different carriers about what they're doing with AI, and I was actually really surprised to find how advanced and how much in control that they were. My hypothesis at the beginning of, before I started actually talking to people about it, was that, man, this ChatGPT thing kind of came out of nowhere and it's blowing up, and now everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do with it. But the thing was, I realized for insurance carriers, the AI journey didn't start when ChatGPT came out. It's actually been going on for years, right? So a lot of them were, especially the bigger players, were pretty quick to have the right governance in place and being able to have the right discussions around prioritization and stuff. And so data, it goes back to, like, what's your data management strategy? Do you have one, right? And how's your data quality? And these are all journeys that the industry had been on for years. So if I flip it forward and look at 2025, I think it's just continued evolution of all that. And people are realizing even more now, and more every year, how important data is. There's new models coming out like every day. There's communities like Hugging Face, is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like there's whole communities of millions of developers just building these models and just opening them up for people, and so I think that's just not going to stop. And actually I've been kind of geeking out on some of the stuff myself, right? And there's actually kind of two races going on out there in AI. There's the race there's the up race, or the big race, right? Trying to do more, bigger data sets with more parameters and nodes and all that kind of stuff. And you start running into the big players in this space are running into hardware and power restrictions, right? Like they're really pushing the envelope. But at the same time, there's a race to the bottom. There's these people out there trying to get models to be smaller and more efficient and require less parameters and all this kind of stuff, but emulate the outcome or the output of those big models, right? Are you seeing any of this? I know you like the AI stuff too. Are you paying attention to any of that?
Yeah, Mike. Oh yeah, Stacey. It's. I think we could do it. Well, we should do a whole show on this. I think. I just think this will rewrite our entire business. So, and I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for a lot of people in this place. Well, let's shift gears and talk about you. So 2024, big year. You had a Hartford conference in Hartford. You opened up a couple of different InsureTech communities around the country. I know you've been involved with angel investment, VC. What's 2025 going to look like for you?
I guess I could go on record as saying this. So one of my goals for 2025 is to get myself out of the business. So I've spent the last, 8 years almost now, working on this community building stuff. Totally happened by accident. I've told the story a million times, so I won't go into too much detail because probably you know it already. If you watched it, you helped with
Oh yeah.
It. So,
oh, yeah.
But it's not what I set out to do in life, to be an event organizer and community builder. It's fun. But now I want to get to a point of sustainability and let it continue to operate and grow without me having to be in the business. And what I'm hoping to do is to start having more time to focus on some of those other activities, right? The VC space is interesting to me. I play the investor role as well, but the capital only builds so much, right? So until some of these returns start coming back, we're going to be probably slowing down in that in 2025. But I'm happy to see the growth in the community stuff that we've done. You mentioned, we have 6 communities now, that we're trying to organize to share back office operations and stuff, and that's the scale that I'm trying to build around it, so that it could efficiently run itself. And so that's my plan for 2025.
Well, great. Well, hey, Stacey, happy to help you anyway in your journey. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you around the floor here today.
Thanks, Paul.
Next up is Sabine VanderLinden, founder and CEO of Alchemy Crew. And Susan, what do you want to say about Sabine?
Other than she's a good friend, I'll start there.
Yes.
But outside of that, and Sabine, if you're listening, you are a good friend of mine. There's no better leader, I think, in sustainability and resiliency than Sabine and Alchemy crew.
Yeah.
Sabine has been working on this climate innovation, climate risk innovation for well beyond years that it became something of more importance. And whether she had her own crystal ball and she was able to see the fact that these climate issues were going to be starting to impact the globe the way they have. She knew this ahead of time. I don't know how she did that, but she did. She really is a leader in that, as I said, in sustainability and resiliency, and has published ultimate articles and reports providing how the insurance industry is adapting and leading in this space.
Yeah, and just a footnote, Sabine actually came to Hartford initially when we got to know her to set up our first accelerator.
Yeah, our first one.
Yeah. All right, so who are you and what do you do?
Well, Paul, I'm Sabine VanderLinden. I work within my company called Alchemy Crew, and I build venture labs for corporates, mostly corporate insurers.
Yeah, well, you did a phenomenal job in a prior role for Hartford. I think you laid the foundation for incredible wave of innovation in Hartford. I mean, it feels like a long time ago, but it feels like yesterday.
I know, it just feels like yesterday. Yes, in 2017, think about it. 2017, we set up the Hartford InsureTech hub, which had an accelerator. And we, for 3 years, brought 10 to 12 startups to Hartford to innovate with insurance companies in the region. Probably, we're probably biased more around PNC because our partners were mostly PNC insurers, but we had visits from, the like of Daiichi, coming into the accelerator to see what was going on, Prudential's, New York Life, to visit and see what was going on. But it was really primary focus on PNC, and you actually helped me on the life and health side, actually, if you remember.
Yeah, no, we had a fun time. We were, it's a wonderful time there. I guess flipping to what you're doing now, and you're doing some great work in climate, and just to sort of connect the dots, so people will be listening to here are sort of the life insurance and annuity and retirement space. Climate's actually, I think, a big deal because in America, beyond Social Security, the house is probably one of the biggest assets you have to fund your retirement. And if your house just went off the cliff or was swamped, that creates an awful lot of economic uncertainty. So why don't you tell people, what are you doing in the climate space? What's your focus? And what's next?
Yeah. So, I realized probably 3 to 4 years that emerging risk is one area we need to pay attention to. And so I started doing a lot of work on climate. I started working on the topic through the transition economy, right? Transitioning to net zero. And I was very fortunate to work with a company like Zurich to actually look at how we build resiliency when we start looking at transitioning. And the way we approached the problem at that time was looking at the value drivers. And what we realized is to identify those value drivers, we had to look at ESG, so environmental, social, and governance structures. So imagine if you build a value driver, you have economic, social, and governance, and then we started identifying the levers of climate change, and therefore how insurers could actually start building resiliencies for physical assets. So you mentioned property. Yes, property is still the main asset. And what we are seeing is high frequency, high severity risk being pronounced, right? We have now the 100 billion sized event like Hurricane Milton. The estimates between 10 billion lost economic loss to probably up to 100 billion. They can't even assess it right now. So what do? We actually try to bring together insurers from all around the world. So for example, we had an event at ITC Vegas 2024 on the 15th pre-event where we had insurers, investors and startups from Asia, from Australia, from Europe, but also from the United States, broker, insurers, reinsurers coming together to actually really understand what that means and actually learning from other regions, from France, from the UK. What are the initiatives which are more innovative and maybe the one who are less innovative? And our goal is to firstly understand some of the emerging risk and how that is going to affect products. We are looking at it from moving the target operating model. Our target operating model is moving to more dynamic. So think about us being able to, so we can prevent those losses at the moment, right? We have to bring that carbon dioxide, below 1.5 degree Celsius. And so we are not going to prevent those, 100 years catastrophic event, but we can mitigate them. So the conversation goes into prevent and predict, and so leveraging technology, climate technology, clean technology, to change the way we look at climate and the society and the planet, and how we actually changing the parameters around, making sure people have the right insurance, affordable insurance, and actually they can be safe, feel they can be safe. What is happening here at the moment in the United States is a lot of people are not covered for natural catastrophe. So you can't ask an insurer to pay for insurance if actually you're not covered. And so there's a lot of educations to be done around potentially sensors. With AI, we have to recognize the cost of technology come to utility level. ChatGPT 3 now is at 0.1 cent cost. So ChatGPT 4 is around $4 at the moment, but that is in a year. So imagine a year from now, ChatGPT 4 would be below 0.1. And so when you start looking at AI, sensors, data, we actually can leverage data then to predict something is going to happen and help people make better choices early on. So, and protect potentially their property, but protect liability, protect their body and move somewhere else. We have a lot of work to be done. I mean, when we look at some of the area of risk that insurers, reinsurers, brokers want to look into more deeply, you have crop with no surprise. Business interruption came up alongside property, the physical asset. And then there is a need to understand the operating model. So how do we use data, sensors, artificial intelligence to create that predictions and the prevention? How do we price risk? How do we leverage the right actuarial and pricing models? And lately then it's about the alerts and actually building a new product and services like green insurance products that can actually help people make better choices. So for example, in Europe, we have a big scheme around boilers, something as simple as a boiler. If a boiler explodes, let's say, and need to be replaced, well, you have the green insurance products which kick in, and we replace those boilers with more economic and energy efficient boilers. And insurance are taking a lot of pride and efforts to actually educate the customers to why they are moving them to a green boiler, let's say. So that is one aspect.
So policies,
right?
Yes.
Discount. I mean, the things we are doing right now is really basic, right? Discount and policies and so forth. But it's about education. Now, when you start looking at major risk, then it's about leveraging the technology to alert people, to help them actually recognize they may not want to live in specific places like floodplains. Yes. So there's a lot to be done. But those events are not going to be fewer, they are going to increase. I mean, the top 3 risks that any insurers are interested in right now is climate, weather-related events, cyber, and with no surprise, workforce transformation, AI, reskilling and upskilling. And all this coming together means we have to look at insurance in definitely in a slightly different way.
Well, thank you. This was great. How should people, if people want to learn more, where should they go?
They should go to alchemycrew.ventures. You will be able to see articles, you'll be able to see the work we are doing. And right now we are seeing how we can shape an initiative with a number of insurers who have asked us to do so.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
Yeah, one surprise interviewee was Tom Polowy, who actually was from the state of Connecticut, came up, Susan said, what is this? Who is CTIFS?
I told you, everybody has a connection.
Yeah, they all do. And I think, by day he has his agency. By night he's doing a startup called InsureGo. And Susan, he talked to me about the property and casualty apocalypse.
Yep.
Those were the words he used to describe the state of the insurance. So anyway, hear about innovation right in our own backyard.
Yeah, I think he knows the difficulties that are in Connecticut and other places. He's willing to talk about them and then give some opportunities for not those impacts, but solutions. What does he think we should be doing to go forward to help offer more protections and more resiliency in climate?
So my name is Tom Polowy. I'm a part founder of InsureTech. It's called InsureGo, and we're looking to solve a lot of problems that agencies have, especially right now, with what I call the personal lines apocalypse. It's getting a lot more difficult for agencies to write business on the personal side. I also have an agency, and I've learned that from direct contact with agencies and people. So I've made the shift over to commercial lines, and that's where the InsureTech product is looking to solve a lot of problems.
Interesting. Personal lines apocalypse.
Absolutely.
Holy mackerel.
If you talk to a lot of agents, they're having more and more issues trying to issue new policies, especially homeowners insurance. And me being in Connecticut, where I would say we're the second tier down from the Californias and the Floridas, where it's getting more and more difficult. We're losing carriers in Connecticut all the time. So premiums are going to go up, unfortunately, for a lot of people, and that's one prediction that I could give you. Premiums are going to continue to go up, and markets are going to continue to tighten on the personal side.
Oh yeah, well, look at the news. How are they going up? Let's talk about the commercial lines in your startup.
Yep.
You are in Connecticut.
Yep.
What problem are you solving in the commercial line space?
So currently the tool that we're developing is focused on submitting applications for higher risk workers' comp claims. Currently the process a lot of times is you have to go to every single MGA and submit the applications. You have to submit the loss runs. So what this tool does is allow whether it's the agent or the customer service rep to enter in data faster than you currently can with using apps and being able to submit it to multiple MGAs at the same time. We're also using AI to pre-fill the vast majority of the data that you need on a workers' comp claim, which I think a lot of agents are going to be very happy about.
Oh yeah, that is a tough business.
Very much so.
Very, very, very process driven. So AI, what's the impact going to be in 2025? I mean, we've only had ChatGPT around for maybe 600 days, and we already have stock analysts saying, "Where's the beef? Where's the beef?" Tell me, how is AI going to change the business, you think, in 2025? And how long is it until companies start to say, wow, we improved our earnings 5% because of our AI solutions?
So I think AI is absolutely here. It's not going away. It's not going to be a fad. I think the speed of how we could do business, how fast we could do quotes, how fast we could process claims is going to increase exponentially. The bottleneck right now, as I see it, is the human element of it, is the adoption. And people just aren't clear on how to use it. Even, for example, Microsoft has a Copilot program, right? They're ITC as well. I'm going to see one of their demos. They have a Copilot for agents specifically. But I think that just being able to use it and making it easy for people to use, because right now I think a lot of people are afraid of using AI. They use it for emails, right? They cheat on creating emails and blog posts, doing a lot of content marketing, so that's effective. But guiding people, like, here's how to use this tool, an easy to use tool, and this is how it's going to help you. And I think there's still a lot of resistance on it, and people kind of balk at AI almost like, again, it might be a fad or it's fun, it's a toy, so a lot of people are still not taking it seriously. But I think once people do, and especially it's going to allow smaller guys also to grow much faster, as it always is. Smaller companies, small business, they could take higher risk, they could grow faster than larger guy. So I think that's where we're going to see in 2025. We're going to start seeing a lot of one-man, two-man shops that are going to grow exponentially and get bought out by private equity probably really quickly. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I think is going to happen in 2025.
Hey, that's great. Now, you have a website?
Yeah, so you can find more information about the InsureTech InsureGo on InsureGo.ai, oddly enough. So we're also putting a lot of content out there, and we're looking to make a lot of connections. So if you want to learn more about InsureGo and the possibilities of how that tool can help you, visit us at insurego.ai.
Excellent. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And we had regulators come by. We had the Iowa Department of Insurance. We had Travis Grassel in the Property and Casualty Division. I don't know. So did you really let Iowa come into the booth?
There was there. I don't want to really say that, but we are friendly with our friendly states that also have large concentrations of insurance employment. Certainly not the numbers we have, Paul. And,
That's right.
Insurance capital. They are not, but yes, we always offer opportunities to listen and learn. And I think to have a regulator on and hear from their perspective on what they're doing for advisory and oversight, it was really essential to the ultimate full podcast report.
Hi, my name's Travis Grassel. I'm the Property and Casualty Actuary for the Iowa Insurance Division. We're actually recently restructured through a government realignment with Iowa Department of Insurance and Financial Services. So the Iowa Insurance Division is a kind of subsidiary of that now, brought in banking and credit unions as well, which I think a lot of states are doing. But my role is Property and Casualty Actuary at the division. Been there a little over 6 years now, and very involved in some of the innovations. So that's kind of what brings me to InsureTech Connect here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I tell you, everybody in Iowa is doing a great job. As we mentioned before, I spent a couple of years out there working with Nick and with your launching your accelerator with Brian Hemenseth, and I think the progress has been tremendous. I guess 10,000 people.
That's incredible.
Lots of companies. Boy, property and casualty is not dull these days. Now, we have a lot of listeners who are focused on the annuity industry, but everybody's got home and owner's insurance.
Yes.
Everybody has. Where's the industry headed? How can this technology help us?
Well, it's really challenging, I think, because of what Mother Nature is doing, some of the climate risk and climate change issues going on. It's the catastrophes that are happening. We've seen it in Iowa with the derecho, lots of tornadoes, and obviously some of these hurricanes lately with Helene and Milton down in the Florida area in the southeast. It's so challenging, I think, because there's just disasters nonstop, and trying to make sure that the homeowners market still stays profitable for the insurance companies, and as well as insurance companies can pay the consumers out there and the policyholders. It's a challenge sometimes, and I was seeing that. I think for the companies to stay diversified is really important. If they can partner with new solutions, maybe some of these parametric pieces for tornadic insurance. I know there's one here at the ITC, SOLA Insurance, that we've started to see write a few policies, maybe not in Iowa quite yet, but it's been in some other states, and just anything to help the situation so that consumers can get money in their pocket really quickly after those disasters. Because what consumers don't really know is if they're relying completely on FEMA, they might not get very much or anything at all, and even if they get paid the max, it's really not going to be enough to completely replace what they've lost.
Yeah, well, I personally, where I see the nexus between what's happening in the homeowners market and retirement planning, we do a lot of work with supporting annuity carriers and development of product, is a lot of people, next to Social Security, their home is their biggest asset for use later in retirement. And do you think any of these solutions are going to help mitigate those problems for?
Well, in my mind, I think about if people are spending a lot more money on their homeowners insurance, they have less to put towards annuities and retirement, and that's a challenge. I know Commissioner Oman in Iowa is huge about some of the financial education that goes on, financial literacy, starting at really young ages. How do you keep everybody informed? But if the money's not there to put towards those things, then they don't have the protection, and I think that's the challenge, is the money only goes so far, so you really want to have people educated, and you need to have a really healthy insurance marketplace with a lot of competitors, because that's what keeps the prices low. If you don't have that and you start running out of some of these availabilities, it falls on the government, and we've seen that in a few states. We haven't seen that in Iowa yet, fortunately, but I think that's what really keeps the prices down low, is the competitiveness of the insurance. And so this huge event, 10,000 people, everybody's competing for business. It doesn't matter if it's startup or if it's an established insurance company. Everybody's trying to look for growth. They all want growth. And I think that's where places like Connecticut and Iowa and other states are really trying to help that growth take off faster, and how do we find new solutions? And some of that's through all the accelerators that are here, some of the InsureTechs that are here in Vegas, and some of them are going to be the next big thing. And obviously, big insurance companies, even small insurance companies, they want to utilize all of these different things to make their companies better as well.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll put you on the spot. What's your prediction for 2025? Anything we can put in an envelope? And
let's see, 2025, if we're talking property and casualty specifically, to me it seems like some of the affordability issues are really coming to the forefront. Our Market Regulation Bureau gets a lot of complaints tied to the prices, and some of the people I work with are like, hey, homeowners insurance is actually pretty inexpensive compared to, in Iowa anyway, compared to auto insurance. And I never thought about that, but I feel like that is true. If you have 2 to 4 cars and a big family, your auto insurance premium is way more than your home insurance premium. So from that perspective, it seems like there's room where your premium could go up, but nobody likes to see their prices go up. And so I think, how do the regulators kind of control some of that? Because if the losses coming in on the homeowners insurance are justified, and from an actuarial perspective, most of the time they are, we try not to get in the way of companies achieving a profit. And sometimes that's very hard to explain to consumers and policyholders out there that, hey, if we don't protect the companies too, you won't have insurance availability, and then you got a bigger problem to deal with from a regulatory perspective or a state economy perspective. But in the future, to me, it's just controlling the expenses. That's a challenge right now, and especially in the property market.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen. Thanks for stopping by and sharing your.
Thanks for having me. It's my first time at ITC, and it's an incredible experience. It's almost overwhelming.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Vilas Shah came by. I love Vilas. I still owe him dinner.
Did he take a picture while he?
Of course, I took a picture. I took a picture. So, yeah. So tell me. So Vilas is on your. Is he on your board?
Yeah, he's on the board of CT IFS, and he's a very active, engaged member as well as Infosys.
Yeah, Infosys has been a big, important participant in building the Hartford ecosystem. I guess they opened their Center of Excellence. I think that was 2017 or 18, maybe.
That, but we got selected out of the entire U.S. There were 5 centers, and Hartford is one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Vilas has some great comments on conservation, climate, but also some great predictions about what 2025 may bring.
My name is Vilas Shah, and I head partnership and alliances for North America for insurance for Infosys. I'm based out of Hartford, Connecticut, and I'm also on the board of CT IFS, which tries to bring more jobs to Connecticut and to Hartford in specific.
Yeah, well, listen, I loved working with you. I think partnerships define how you operate, and certainly what you've done in Connecticut. I know that your company has been very, very important for Hartford and Connecticut. So first of all, thanks for what you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So 2024, we're here at the conference. You and I have been here many times.
Yes, both of us, isn't it?
So what's different this year? Like if you go back and say, this was something I saw, this is what I heard, this is what it felt like. What's defining this year, this conference?
Yeah, so I'll give you a couple of perspectives on what are the differences. One, which is very close to my heart, is sustainability and recycling and making sure that the world is much better than how we got it. When I give it to my kids, it should be slightly better than what I got it. So this last year we saw a lot of use of plastic, a lot of use of paper for water, for stuff like that, and they initiated it last year, but this year I saw very much there are no water cups, there are no water stations. There are water stations, but you got to go with your own water bottle. So they've given a lot of free water bottles for people, so go fill up your bottle and use that bottle all day. It's a wonderful way of doing it. One, that's the sustainability part of it. A lot of partners who are here, I spoke to some of them, and they have gone one step ahead and talk about sustainability on their own, of even the booth setup. So Infosys, when we set up this booth, every year you want to do something different. So you want to set up a different type of booth, you want to do different. This year we asked for quotes from our designer on what would be more sustainable. It cannot be 100%, but at least to a larger extent sustainable. And we got a design that has reusable panels. So when we are done with our booth, they can dismantle it and restructure it for someone else. So another part of sustainability.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great. No, I know it's the plates, the food. It's all very.
And that is all well. You saw that.
Yeah.
Then coming to the structure of the way this event has been done, this year they specifically brought the L&A part separately. So you see one stage on L&A, and all the L&A related InsureTechs and companies were all clustered around that. That gave a very good idea for people who come here. They don't have to randomly walk around and, hey, one healthcare company, one life company, and one PNC company, and then someone again is a healthcare. So this time, by that structuring, they have directed the traffic to a large extent to cover both of them. Third, this year we see so many AI initiatives, and so many InsureTechs have come out which are more on AI, and that's a change. I think that's what's.
This is great, I have to agree with you. I think for with 10,000 people, I feel like I've seen the people that I would expect, and that's why I think they designed it this way.
True.
Design is it's interesting. Innovation can be designed. I think engagement can be designed. So, question for you: 2025. You work with a lot of these clients. You see a lot of these carriers. You see a lot of the startups. What do you think 2025 is going to be about? What are the top 2 or 3 themes or trends you think we'll look back and remember?
Yeah, I think one undoubtedly is going to be AI. Everything is going to be AI driven, not only driven but powered by AI, and has to be run on AI. So that's going to be 100% part of it. Second, looking at the insurance industry specifically, I see cost pressures in a very high level at this stage. So we will see more and more organizations come out which will help you reduce costs, and that's going to be a prime driver for 25. So AI and cost reduction both have to go hand in hand, but you will see more and more InsureTechs coming on that way. We made a survey with a large number of CIOs of insurance companies, and we did this along with AWS, and we came out with a set number of use cases which most CIOs said they are looking for, and the CIOs indicated that they think these are the priorities going to be on AI, and these were taken across the industries. So not only insurance, we did healthcare, we did retail, we did energy, and we identified and consolidated 36 use cases. I think the coming year is going to define how these use cases will actually be put into production. It is no longer just a chat or just a part of conversation that I want to have AI, but I would not put in money. It's not that. The CIOs have actually made up their mind to bring in. Last year, from a survey I saw, they talked about 4% of their money would go towards innovation and AI. This year it has gone to 6.5%.
Interesting.
So it's
interesting.
There.
Now, is that survey available to the public on your website?
It's not available on my website, but it is available on someone else's website, and we'll share that with you.
Oh, great.
Because someone else did that survey.
Okay.
And we heard that, and it was publicly shown yesterday here on one of the events.
Yeah.
So it's a part of the revenue that's coming out from a CIO's pocket going towards AI. That's going to be big.
It will be enormous.
It will be enormous, and Infosys has invested quite a lot on AI. We have our own tools that we have built, which will help the clients take forward on their own journeys of AI.
Yeah.
So all our listeners, if they're interested, we'll be happy to talk more about that.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen, thank you for everything. Thanks for giving us a few minutes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you. Well, great. And so anyway, Susan, thank you again for giving us the space and giving us the time.
Hey, this is a climate, as we say, is a top risk and a top of mind for insurance. So thank you, Paul and Zinnia, for making this one of the podcast focuses.
Great. Thank you very much. And thanks for listeners. Be sure to tune in for part 3 of our report from the conference floor in Las Vegas.
Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend us on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information or listen to more episodes at thatannuityshow.com. Nassau Financial Group is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We build products that help protect people's savings and are dedicated to providing you with best-in-class service. We seek to keep things simple and have your back in the years to come. Nassau is headquartered in Hartford, Connecticut. Learn more at nfg.com.
Zinnia, an Eldridge Industries business, simplifies insurance. It delivers comprehensive solutions for the industry's most critical needs and creates the modern rails of the insurance industry. To learn more about Zinnia, please visit zinnia.com.